All right, you should be looking at something that says start your story. Becky, you're nodding your head, which makes me feel confident that everybody's seen that as well. Just gonna plug in my clicker so you don't have to listen to me hitting the keyboard constantly. All right, so you're here to learn about the MMJC program. If you're in the wrong place, if you don't want to know about that program, you might want to sign off now. Why choose the MMJC? So I'll give you some of the top reasons why I think and what does draw people to our program. One is the size of our program. So we cap our program at 40 people. Some years it's smaller than that. So between 30 and 40 students are in the program every year. That is a really small, tight group of people. It's great for several reasons. One, networking and making friends and getting to know each other. We create a real family feel in the program, and the students create a real family feel in the program. I can't take credit for that. But people really bond closely and work closely together, which is really nice. You also get to know your teachers really well. We have more than 10 teachers in the program. So if you think about 30 to 40 students, we have a great ratio of teachers to students. Teaching graduate students in a program like this is a treat. And we are interested in you. We get to know you really well as well. So you've got that interaction where you can learn a lot, get a lot more personal feedback from your professors. What else? The other nice thing about the size of the program is you'll all be pushing and learning from each other because you'll know each other and you'll be so close. We are a one-year program, which is probably one of the reasons why a lot of you are here today. We give you the opportunity to get in and out in 3 semesters. So the program starts in September. By April, you're finished the classroom stuff here in London and you're off on your internships. And I'll talk a bit more about the structure of the program as we go ahead, but it's a one-year program. So you pay tuition for 1 year and you are out working in the workforce more quickly rather than paying an extra year of tuition, an extra year of living expenses. Just a heads up with that 1 year, and I'll mention this again, what that 1 year means is it's fast and it's a lot of work. It's, we're very demanding because we're trying to teach you so much in 1 year. Another advantage of the program is because it's small and we're a graduate only program, we don't have an undergraduate journalism program. We have the MIT program in our faculty, but not journalism. And while there are journalism courses in there, the focus for journalism in our faculty is largely in the MMJC program, and that's where our attention is. So we can pivot and stay current really quickly to all the changes that are happening in the industry. Sorry, many of the changes that are happening in the industry. The industries, both on the communication side and the journalism side, are changing so quickly. So it's important for us to be able to shift and transition in. An example of that is this year. Last year I teach video, and last year I did not teach anything about TikTok, and this year I'll have an assignment about TikTok because the world's changing and people need to be able to do TikTok and Instagram, whereas 5 years ago, that wasn't an issue for video stories. Other advantage of this program, a big selling point, is it's a combination of practical work and critical thinking. So you could go to a college program or possibly an undergraduate journalism program and get more hands-on stuff than you will in our program, but you won't get the critical thinking element that comes with a master's level program. So you'll be doing ethics and theory, you'll be learning about media and information law in this program. And our aim is not to pump you out and get you in a position to get entry-level jobs and that's it. We want to have you ready for that, but we also want to have you ready to become either leaders in the newsrooms or at the agencies, the companies that you're working in on the communication side. We want you to be leaders in those places. And a lot of that comes from being able to think critically about the industry and what we're teaching you. So that's a big advantage of our program as well. At the heart of all of it is storytelling, and that is the heart of everything we teach pretty much. Whether you're interested in journalism or communications or both of those professions, storytelling is at the heart of it, and being able to tell compelling, engaging, educational stories. So that pulls everything together. And that's how we can teach journalism and why we teach journalism communications together, because it's storytelling and we want you to be fantastic storytellers. So a question you will probably want to ask yourself is, does the MMJC program fit you, and are you a good fit for the program? In terms of that, the MMJC works for a variety of students. So students coming from the MIT program, for example, it's a pretty natural fit to come into the MMJC program. But we have students who come from sciences, from social sciences, from arts and humanities, lots of different backgrounds come into our program. We have students who are coming straight out of their undergraduate degrees, and we have students who have taken a shift from a PhD program to come to our degree this year, for example. So whatever your background is, that's valuable to come into our program like ours. One of the, I am biased, but I also did a journalism degree. I did a poli-sci degree and a master's journalism degree. And one of the great things about doing journalism at a master's level is you've already got a knowledge and you're good critical thinkers to have gotten this far. And that's going to be a really good foundation for whatever you go work in. And then we can teach you how to tell stories really well across different platforms, but you have that already. So if you're curious, if you love to tell stories, if you enjoy applying theory to practice, and if you want to develop a wide range of communication skills and abilities to tell stories on different platforms, then this program is probably right for you. If what you love is writing essays, if that's your passion and all you want to do, this might not be the program for you. You will get to write essays. There's academic stuff in this program for sure, but there's a lot of hands-on in this program, applying what you're learning. And so, yeah, if you're passionate about essay writing and theory, and that's all you're passionate about, maybe think about the media studies program here at FIMS or something along those lines. You might want to go into something more academic than a program like ours, which is academic, but also a lot of hands-on. All right. So I'm just going to walk you through each semester just to give you sort of a general overview of the program. So in the fall semester, everybody takes the same 5 courses. You don't have a choice. All the students are put in the same classes. You get to know each other really well that way. And you take 5 courses. So there's an introduction to journalism course, an introduction to communications course, an introduction to, an audio and visual storytelling skills course. That's the one I teach. There's a social media and digital productions course that Mark Rayner teaches. He's here today. I should mention the introduction to communications course is taught by Aaron Eisens, who's on the Zoom meeting today. And the introduction to journalism course is taught by Mark Carney, who's also on the call today. So they'll be able to, you'll be able to hear from them in a few minutes. And doing Democracy Right or doing Right by Democracy, that's our ethics, critical thinking course, and ethics and theory. And that's taught by Romaine Smith-Fullerton, who some of you might know from the undergraduate program. She will be joining us a little bit later if she's not here already as well. So that's the first semester. Those are your 5 core courses. We start you assuming you're at the beginning level. So everybody starts from the beginning. You don't have to have a background in journalism or communications to do any of these courses. If you've done a lot of journalism or a lot of communications in the past, you'll be a little bit ahead of your classmates in those courses, and you'll be working extra hard in the other courses. Okay, in terms of winter, you have a lot more choice in the winter. You can direct sort of your studies a lot more. There is one required course. It's the Information and Media Law course. Everybody does that course, and that's a foundational course that you have to take. And then you start getting into choices. So you'll have 4 more courses. Everybody has to take one of these 2 courses. So either the newsroom course, which is basically an advanced journalism course, or an advanced communications course with Aaron Eisens. The newsroom course this year is taught by Jennifer O'Brien, and Aaron Eisens teaches the advanced communications course. You have to take one of those courses because we want you to get advanced skills in communications or journalism. You can take, if you're interested in, equally interested in journalism and communications, you can take both of the courses. You could take one of them as an elective, but you have to take one of those 2 courses. So that's 2 courses, and then you get 3 electives. And here's some of the electives that we have this year, and we usually have each year. And these you choose 3 of. So Shoot for the Heart course, that's an advanced video storytelling course with me. That's aimed at journalism, people interested in journalism and communications. We tell both of those kinds of stories in that course. Copy editing is also good for journalism and communications. No matter what you do, being a good writer is really important, and copy editing is a great course for that. That's taught by Sheila Hannon. Mastering Strategic and Digital Communications is taught by John Munn, who's a communications director at Huron College. And that's more focused on communications. So that's a course, if you're interested in communications, that you might want to take. Professional writing is also taught, it's also a communications course, and it's focused on that. Features, opinions, and specializations is a course that's a little bit more focused on journalism. It's relevant to people who are interested in comms. Because in communications, you have to do persuasive writing as well, and you would learn about some of that in Larry Cordy's course. There are other courses you can take as well. So those are some MMJC courses. There's some FIMS courses at the graduate level that you can take any FIMS courses at the graduate level. There's some that are specifically of interest for our students, including Mark Rayner's web design course. And you feel free to ask him about that if you're interested in that. And then you can also take courses across universities. So if you have a real interest in health sciences, in law, in international development, you can go take courses in other faculties at the graduate level. And we have students do that each year. Not a lot, because mostly we have so many courses that students want to take, and you do 3 electives might sound like a lot, but there's often courses, more than 3 courses that students want to take. So that's an option as well. So you've got all those courses to choose from in the winter, and you'll be picking 3 of them. Then we move to the summer semester. So we're into April, May now, and everybody goes off and does an internship. So you can do the internships in London. You can do the internships anywhere you want. We've had students do them across the world. India, I'll show you a list later on to give you sort of a sense. Doha in Qatar, London, England. Most years we send somebody to CBC in London, England for an internship. So the internships can be journalism, they can be communications. It's kind of up to you. It depends where your interest is. And I'll talk a little bit more about how we set those up for you. Internships generally run for 10 weeks. Sometimes they're 6 weeks. They can go up to 14 weeks. It just depends. But the idea is for the 10-week ones, after that, you go off and do a capstone project, and you have 4 weeks to do that. No matter what, even if your internship is 14 weeks, you're doing a capstone project, we just work it into your internship. So the capstone project is a chance for you to really, Romaine Smith-Fullerton has been teaching that. She can talk about it a little bit more, but it's basically a chance for you to sink your teeth into doing a course in sort of a deep way. Sorry, not a course, an assignment, a project. And it can be video, it can be print, it can be photography, it can be text-based, it can be a mix of all of the above, it can be journalism or communications. You'll work with a teacher to develop an idea and work with your classmates on the idea to hone it, and then you'll go off and do it. And it's kind of something that you should be able to use as a calling card when you're applying for jobs. So a bit more on the internships. If you go on our website, you can find these lists. Becky has made it, designs our website and has done a great job of making it easy to find. So these are some of the communications internships we've sent people to recently. This is not what you're limited to. It's not like in the MIT program where you can just do internships that we have set up for you. You can let us know where you want to go. You can go off with our help and support and look for new places to set up internships. On the journalism side, we've been doing journalism internships for more than 45 years at the graduate level at Western in journalism. So we have a ton of contacts and a lot of history of setting them up. And again, it can be in London, it can be across Canada, it can be around the world. It kind of depends on where you want to go, where you're allowed to go. Just to be clear, we're not sending you to any war zones. There are limits to where you can go. And this is just a little taste of our international internships that we've sent people on the last few years. You can see Al Jazeera there. That's where I used to work. And we've sent students to DC and Qatar for Al Jazeera in the last 6 or 7 years, and they've all gotten jobs out of it. Spain, Brussels, we had a great internship done there last year that ended up going for an entire year. CBC in the UK, they often reserve a spot for us. So we can send a student there every year. That's a 6-week internship. And that gives you a taste. Now, I would hope that by summer of 2022, when students at your level are going off to do their internships, that people are able to do internships and go work in workplaces. So that would be the goal, and that's what I assume is going to happen. But just so you know, even last year in a worst case scenario, when all of our almost all of our internships got canceled in March, middle of March, and they're supposed to start at the beginning of May, we pivoted and responded and set up internships for all of the students, basically. So we created a digital news agency and hired a teacher, Jennifer O'Brien, to work with them, paired up with the London Free Press for mentors and the CBC London. And basically the students every day were working on digital news publication and got great experience pumping out stories and also leading a news team. And on the comm side, we worked with various partners across London, and we set up a digital communications agency. Michelle Edwards taught that and ran that for the students. And the students basically worked as comms as an agency, working with partners in London at all different levels and helping them come up with plans and implementing communication strategies. So worst case scenario, our students still had a great internship experience. I'm expecting for you and hopeful for you that that won't be necessary unless you choose to do that. All right, in terms of how to apply to the program, check out our website. There's a video there that you can check out. There's a lot of tips there as well. But we do have Mark and Aaron who are on the admissions committee. So I thought, and Mark's been doing the admissions committee for every year of the program. So I thought we could maybe turn to them and they could talk a little bit about what we look for and some application tips that they might have. These are some things I'll throw up there that I've heard from Mark in the past, but better to let Mark talk. So maybe I will jump out, Mark and Aaron, bring you up on camera and you can speak. Mark or Aaron, do you want to talk a little bit about what we look for from applicants?
Oh, Mark, you're on mute. Go ahead.
I'm on mute. Yeah, there we go. I'm happy to talk first, unless Aaron, you want to go? No? Okay. Welcome everyone. It's nice to see so many people are interested in the program. And thank you, Jeremy. So yeah, I've been doing this for a while now, and so I got some advice for you. We're looking for people who are going to be successful. So that's part of our methodology when we're looking at your applications, and your applications are not like a lot of other programs. We kind of are looking at a lot of things. So we look at your grades, we look at the personal statement that you've made. Those both factor in fairly highly. We also look for experience you might already have in media, though, as Jeremy said, you don't have to have that. So we have, some people whose grades are maybe, at the B level, but they've done tons of work in media, and we're excited to have them because we're pretty sure they're going to be able to contribute and have a good time with the program, even if they might find some of the academic stuff a little bit challenging. And then we have some A students who come that have virtually no experience in media, but we know that they're probably going to be able to do it because they've done so well in their undergraduate. And really the deciding factor for us is the personal statement that we're going to have you guys make, because really, frankly, it's the first thing I read. And I usually know by the end of the third paragraph where this is going. That's not necessarily the case with everybody, but quite often that statement for me is really important. So I don't want to freak you out. I don't want to make you be paralyzed when you're writing that, but I do want you to recognize how important that is. So write something for us that is interesting, that we want you to show, to demonstrate that you can tell a good story. So don't say, I can tell a good story, or I've always been telling stories. Show us how you tell stories and give us an anecdote. Find an interesting fact that will hook us into your tale about why you want to come to the program and why you think this is the career for you, why you think this is going to be the best thing for you to do. It's a little bit about what we can give to you and a little bit about what you can give to us, because the other thing that's important about this program is it's a really tight group, and we want to make sure you guys are going to be able to work together and have a good time together too. So we look at all of those things, and it's not an essay, so you don't have to be writing a formal essay. And it really is just, we're looking for a good story. Tell us a good story. Imagine you're sitting around a campfire and you want to introduce yourself to people in the most interesting way possible. That's kind of what we're looking for. And my advice is rewrite it. So don't dash it off and send it. Write a version of it. Let it sit for a while, come back to it and see, okay, is this good? Is this really good? Make sure you have a good go at copy editing too. So make sure once you've got your final draft ready to go, you've checked for grammar mistakes and spelling errors and formatting problems. Aaron will spot them all, I guarantee. And so that's important too. So, and it's okay to have people read it. So I'm a novelist as well as a professor. So I have what I call beta readers. So when I finish a book, I'm not going to say stable because I don't want to compare people to horses, but I have a group of people that I know and I trust, And they'll tell me, Mark, this isn't interesting. That paragraph, that opening paragraph just doesn't hook me. So you want to find a great opening paragraph that really hooks us in, and then a second paragraph and a third paragraph that makes us go, okay, this is someone who can tell a really good story. I think that covers most of it. Oh, the other thing is, that we'll look at is your referee letters. So that's not just a rubber stamp thing either. So think a little bit about who you'd like to ask to write a referee letter, and because sometimes that does matter when we're considering. So all things equal. I think that's all I would say in terms of my advice.
Yeah, and I would just say the same to everything that Mark just said. I think you about covered everything, Mark. Thanks.
Okay, great.
Okay, I'm going to shift us back to the PowerPoint, and then I'll wrap that up in a couple of minutes, and then we're going to hear from the other teachers as well who are here with us, as well as the our current and recent students. All right, we talked about application tips. If you've got more questions about that, save them for the end, but you're welcome to ask them. This is a question we get a lot. How competitive is it to get in? Don't worry about it, is what I would say to you, because some years it's super competitive, some years it's only very competitive. The one thing I can tell you for sure is if you do not apply, you will not get in. Otherwise, like Mark said, we do look for students who have great marks, but we look for other things as well. If you don't have those great marks, Mark or Aaron or anybody else on the admissions committee might see something there that they think will make you a really good fit for our program. Could be the experience you have, could be your story, where you've come from in your life and what you've had to overcome. So rather than worried about how competitive it is to get in, I would say, and how many applications we get, I would say focus on putting forward the best application you can, and just worry about that. We only let in people who we are very confident are going to succeed in this program. So if you do get in, you'll be looking at a lot of work, but we especially Mark and Aaron, have a great record of knowing who's going to be okay. You'll be fine if you can get into the program, and do not worry about trying to answer that question. Just put your best application forward. All right. I'm going to show you a quick video. This is a video just to give you a little taste, a really fast taste of the inside of our facilities and what you might see when you go there. This is filmed last year as an assignment by a student. I think she filmed it in an hour or two, sorry, and I did it in a couple of hours. It's obviously done, as you'll see it, before COVID, because people aren't wearing masks. So I'll play it for you. It's a little inside view of what our facilities look like. All right, super fast tour. Want to mention too the access to equipment. You saw it very briefly in the equipment room. One of the great things about our program is you have 24/7 access to our equipment. We have terrific equipment. We have cameras that are sort of $7,000 to $8,000 a piece. I think we have 10 of them now. So 10 for 30 to 40 students. Our students always have cameras when they want to use them. Plus Avid edits. I think we have 3 or 4 Avid editing suites. We have the broadcast space, sorry, the radio space. So terrific equipment. You also have the broadcast studio, which is our classroom for I think 4 out of the 5 classes in the fall, usually. Obviously we're on virtual this year. And that space ends up being kind of a clubhouse for the students because only MMJC students have access to that space. So your classes are in there, but people also hang out there in there usually, not during COVID, hang out in there a lot and get to know each other and work on assignments together. So it ends up, again, even the space ends up bringing the whole program together and all the students together. All right. If you're interested in sort of getting a bit more behind the scenes view of our program, feel free to check us out on Instagram. Feel free to follow us on Instagram. The Instagram's run by a couple of our current students. They're kind of our social media team with some oversight from Becky and from Tina Donati, who you'll meet in a minute. So yeah, that'll give you a bit more background on, or a bit more of a sneak peek behind the scenes of what goes on in the program. So before we come to questions, I just want to introduce a few more people, and then we'll do questions. Maybe I'll just introduce quickly the teachers who all teach in the fall. And you can introduce yourselves, maybe say a couple words about the course you teach. Mark, I'm going to start with Mark Carney, then Erin, then Mark, and then Romaine, because she's on my last page.
Thanks, Jeremy. Oh, bit of an echo here. First of all, it's great to see all these people out here who are interested in the program. As mentioned earlier, I teach the Introduction to Journalism course. Some of you may have taken some writing courses with me in undergrad. But as Jeremy mentioned, if you have no background in journalism, you don't have to worry. We start at the beginning. For those of you who might know a little bit of journalism, it's a bit of a refresher. And then we get you working on some news assignments pretty quickly in, and you'll have a chance as well to write a few other stories that are not so news focused. We also, during the course of a class, we will talk about some issues in journalism that are going on as well, okay? But you get a chance to get out there, post-COVID anyway, and talk to people, interview people, and put stories together. As Jeremy mentioned, it's about storytelling, and that's what Introduction to Journalism is all about.
Thanks. Erin?
Hi, everyone. Nice to see so many faces here. New faces and faces from undergrad too. That's nice. So I have a background in marketing communications. I've been teaching in the program for about 5 years, and my fall course is Introduction to Communications, where we look at framing, we look at strategic communications and media kits. It's a really hands-on course. I usually have students out working in the community with a nonprofit community partner. So it's a nice way to both practice our comm skills and do some good work for our community too. Thanks.
Mark? Oh, you're muted.
Okay, so sorry about that. Yeah, so my course is called the Social Media and Digital Production Dojo, or just the Dojo for short. And essentially what we're doing in my class is learning the digital skills that you're going to need. So we'll start by doing a little bit of basic coding, HTML, CSS. We'll learn how content management systems work by using WordPress. Then we kind of slip into Photoshop and how to do infographics. And while we're doing all of that, we're sort of learning sort of some of the behind the scenes stuff, like what is good UX, what is good user experience, all skills that you're going to need in the future. Well, you need right now and in the future if you want to work in this field. So that's basically the course. It's actually pretty fun. Don't be intimidated by it. Like everyone else, I assume pretty much zero. So we start at the very beginning and work our way up.
Thanks, Mark. Romaine, over to you. And if you could say something about the capstone project as well, because I know that ends up being one of the favorite parts of the program for a lot of the students.
Sure. Hi, everybody. Sorry, I don't have my video on. My internet today has a lag, and it seems more sensible to go for actually having some interactive content than for you to see my face. You all know what I look like anyway, right? There's a photo. Yes, I teach 2 courses in the program. The first one is in the fall. It's the Ethics and Comm Theory course with a very long title, Doing Right by Democracy or Doing Democracy Right or something like that. I created the title. I still can't even remember what it is. Basically, what we're doing in that course is we are looking at public storytelling, both its practices. So we're looking at ways in which stories get generated and interactions between storytellers and the individuals and communities they cover, as well as having a look at those products. So what kinds of stories are out there, what has past practice been, what's good, what's bad, and trying to figure out ways for you to ethically and thoughtfully and responsibly become public storytellers. It's an intense course in some respects. There's a lot of reading. There's a lot of looking at different media and comms examples. We meet every week. I'm pretty demanding, I'm not gonna lie. The bar is high. I don't really assume a pre-knowledge, but I do assume that you care about responsibility. I do assume that you're committed to doing the best job you can in becoming a public storyteller, and that's something that you're going to take on in both a personal and a professional capacity. And yeah, we even have some fun. So it isn't all tough stuff. We have some laughs. We share a lot of stuff, and yeah, I think it's a great course. In the summer, I have also managed the capstone course. So what the capstone is, it's your opportunity to pick a topic about which you're passionate and to choose an approach. Either the project will be a comms-based approach or it will be a journalism-based approach. And usually you also pick a medium to anchor that project. So maybe you think you want to do a piece, I don't know, maybe you want to do an exploration of fox hunting in London, Ontario. That'll be my go-to example for today. And you think it would be really interesting to know whether the London Hunt and Country Club still hunts. Is that still something that happens? You want to create a website to explore that. So you've decided that it's not going to be a promotional piece for the London Hunt Club. Instead, it's going to be an investigation or an exploration of that topic. You might cover some history. You'll cover what the Hunt Club is up to currently, what the debates are around hunting live versus drag, all of that kind of stuff. So you might have some videos, you might have some interviews, you might have some still photographs, you have some text on your website. It's an integrated piece. You could take the same story, basic thematic approach and say you're going to do a comms piece. Maybe it is a promotional piece for the London Hunt and Country Club. So instead of doing that as an investigative piece, you would be framing the material as informational and promotional. So you would be trying to, and largely in that regard, you would probably be working with people at the Hunt Club or whatever the organization is to suggest what it is that the organization does and ways in which people can become involved and why it's something that people might care about. It's usually an intensive project. At the same time, in the summer, you're doing your internship. So we have traditionally put the capstone at the end of that internship. The past summer, because of COVID restrictions, the time flexibility was increased and we opened it up to an entire, you had about a month's worth of work to do, but you could spread it out over the entire 4 months because that seemed to work better in some respects. But we'll see what next summer looks like. I don't know that we know yet what timeframes will look like for the capstone, but that's the idea. You get to pick a pet project, pitch it to me, and then go and do the work and create something that's entirely your own.
Thanks, Romain. Just 3 more people I want to introduce to you very briefly in case they end up answering your questions. Tina Donati is MMJC class of 2019, so graduated about 1.5 years ago. Do you want to say hello?
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name's Tina. Like Jeremy said, I graduated in 2019, and I'm now working full-time as a content marketing specialist for a tech company that's kind of like an e-commerce Shopify space. So yeah, MMJC like really prepared me for the opportunities that I've had since graduation. And I tell people all the time, like it was literally the best year of my life. So I'm really glad that you guys are all interested in here learning about it. But I'm here if you have any questions about life after MMJC after Jeremy speaks.
Thanks, Tina. And then Jessica Singer and Calvi Leon are with us as well. Jessica, do you want to say a quick hello? They're both current students.
Yeah, hi, my name is Jessica. You could also call me Jess. I'm a current MMJC student and I graduated from MIT during my undergrad in April. I feel like a lot of questions may concern the pandemic, but this year we have been doing everything virtually and it has been so much fun and such an amazing experience. I met so many cool people, made so many great friends, and we've also still had the opportunity to go out in the field and produce video stories, interview people, write stories. So nothing's really hindering our learning experience right now, and it's truly phenomenal. And a lot of the profs also really amazing and accommodating. So yeah, if you have any questions about applications or what you can get out of the program or how it's been going so far, you can feel free to ask me.
Thanks, Jess. Calvin?
Hi, everyone. Yeah, I guess Jess just covered everything there. But yeah, I also did my undergrad at Western in media and the public interest. And then I came right into this program. And I'd say like the biggest thing is, which is so amazing from this program, is the fact that it's so practical and like assignment based while also providing you with the critical thinking. I really like it just because a lot of my courses in undergrad were theory. So it's nice to have that balance. And in terms of the actual like group itself, the cohort is small, as you know, which makes it really nice because you get to know everyone, and everyone is just really supportive, and the profs included, and all around the courses are really good. First semester or first term, you get pretty much a foundation for everything, and then next term you have a little more flexibility in terms of what you want to do and what you want to choose. I'm personally interested. I'm actually conflicted because I love comms and journalism, so which is nice. That's why I chose this program. But yeah, like it's going to be great next term just because we can actually have a little more flexibility in choosing that. But yeah, let me know if you have any questions. If you want to add Jess or myself on social media, feel free, or you can email us. My email is cleon4@uwo.ca.
Maybe what I'll say is if we're going to take your questions now, but if you have questions for me or for Tina, for Jess, for Calvi afterwards, get in touch with me through the website if you don't, or if you already have my email, and then I will connect you with them if you want to just talk to a current or recent grad and have more questions for them. So open to questions. Feel free to put
Jeremy,
up
we actually have a question in the chat. You can start with that one. Can you see that, or do you need me to read it?
Yep, no, I can see it.
Okay.
Could you share information about the required courses? I didn't understand, why do all the fall and winter terms have separate required courses? So the fall courses, the ones that all 5 people take, that is to give everybody a foundation in communications and journalism. And it's really important, I found from my career, and we found from our graduates going out, that if you want to do really well in journalism, it's really good to have a background and understanding of what people do in communications, because you're going to be working with them a lot. And if you want to go work in communications, often you're getting your message out through journalists. So to have a good background in journalism is really important. And a lot of people you meet who work in comms have been former journalists and have been through journalism programs. So Becky's a good example of that. She's a graduate of the Masters of Art in Journalism, and she's working in communications. So it's one of the reasons we shifted our program. So many of our journalism grads are going to work in communications. So knowing both of those things is really important, and having a foundation in all those things, including video storytelling, including social media with Mark. It's really critical for you being a big storyteller. So that's why those are required courses. And the other required course in the winter, the media and information law course, is to make sure you know how to handle yourselves when you're out there, to make sure you, whether you work in journalism or communications, you know what to do so you're not going to get sued. And you also know what to do so that people can't bully you and threaten to sue you and turn you off of a story or turn you away from a story. So it's really important that you have that foundation. And that's why those core courses are there.
So we've got a question from Dana, but you've got your hand up and you've written it in is it the same question? Oh, one question? Okay, it sounds like it. So Jeremy, the question
That's
multiple
written questions.
Oh, you have more than one. Okay, well,
Yeah.
We'll start with the written one and then Jeremy can move on.
Okay.
Okay, written one over here. There it is.
Yeah.
This program offers a scholarship. We have a lot of scholarships that we offer, and you can they're listed on the website, and I can give you more information offline about them as well if you want, or we can get that to you through email, a whole list of them. What we do not have is TA-ships. So unlike other programs where they're 2 years long and you might be teaching the undergraduate program, we don't offer that. We get you to focus on your studies for the entire year. But there are a lot of scholarships we have scholarships that we give out when we accept the students. We have scholarships that are incoming that we give out just before September or in September. We have scholarships that we give out partway through the year. And we have scholarships that we give out third semester and scholarships that we give out at the end of the program. So there are scholarships throughout the year that you can apply for and that you can be put forward for as well. It's a lot of work for our teachers because we look at a lot of applications for scholarships, but that's just part of the program and how it works. And I'll just mention this, if any of the other teachers want to fill in a bit on my answers, just put up your hand and or just jump in. So we'll move on to somebody else's question, but I can stick around for as long as you want, and we can come back to you if we run out of questions.
So if we're going to move on, it'll be Cassandra Coleman's question.
Okay.
Can you see that one? Do you want me to read it?
Does the MMJC teach about broadcasting too? Yes, we do. Sorry, that's me. And so I didn't talk about that. My background is I've worked for the CBC, for the BBC, for Al Jazeera English, all on TV news with some multimedia on the side. Yeah, first semester, my course that I teach, you learn audio and visual storytelling skills. That is mostly about video. So it's going out, we teach you everything, how to shoot, how to edit, how to voice, how to stand on camera and talk and present news or comms. We teach you how to write your stories, how to find your stories, everything, so you can do good video stories. And that's really critical for journalism and for communications, because as you all know, you're watching a lot of videos on your phones when you're getting information. It's much easier to check things out and watch videos on phones. Video storytelling is changing dramatically because of that. The traditional newscasts and reporter's voice is changing. Now, people are often watching stories on their phones at the back of my classroom, or maybe even while I'm giving a talk right now, just below your computer screen. So that you have to be able to tell stories without even using your voice sometimes. So there's text on video and lots of different things that are changing. So yes, there is everybody will take video storytelling in the first semester. That's a core foundational course. And if you want to do advanced video storytelling in the winter, you can do that with me. And you can use video across your storytelling. I know in Aaron's course, there's advanced communications course, there's video storytelling. There's lots of courses that allow you to do more video. In the capstone, you can do video as well. So yes to broadcasting for both journalism and communications.
Okay, we're on the question from Naomi, when applications are due.
Applications are due February 1st is the deadline. You're welcome to send them in anytime before that. We will start on February 1st. We will take all the applications we have and start going through them. And we try to get our offers out by the beginning of March. So we have about a month where we look at all the applications, go through them all, make our decisions, pick who we want to offer entrance scholarships to. February 1st is the absolute cutoff deadline. When you have to be in, you can get your applications in before that, of course. We start looking at the February 1st. And Mark or Aaron, feel free to jump in, but I think that's answers that question.
Okay, then we'll move on to another question from Dana, which is this program recognized by IABC or CPRS?
Aaron,
Professional Communications Organization.
Hi, Aaron, I'm going to pass that one over to you.
I think she left.
Okay.
So
Oh,
she
She might have left.
she has to teach at 1:30, and I think Mark Carney has to as well. Yeah, Mark, you go ahead. Thanks.
Well, I can say about the IABC this: they don't have they don't at this point have an accreditation program. So I guess the short answer is it wouldn't hurt to be with IABC to have our master's degree, and many of our grads actually are part of that organization. And CPRS, we do not actually have an accreditation agreement with them yet, but it doesn't mean that you can't pass the accreditation. I know that Erin has taken the course and she's passed it, so she knows that what we're covering will prepare you guys to pass the test. And I'm sorry, I can't remember the name of the test off the top of my head, but yeah, you'll be able to pass the one that's the lower level, that's for new grads. You should know enough by the end of the program to get that accreditation yourself.
I see the next question is from Yara. We're just going through a list there, Becky. You want to ask about the elective. So I'm not sure, Yara, first of all, what time is it?
Hi.
Hey, Yara, nice to hear you. What time is it there?
Hi, nice to see you again. It's 10:20, 10:20 p.m. I noticed your phone. Congrats. looks good. I wanted to ask about electives. Is it possible that we could take electives from different departments? for example, if we're interested in taking, I know after the 5 required courses and we look into electives in later semesters, would we be able to take electives in other departments like sociology? Is that somewhere where we need to get permission?
Mark, why don't you answer that? Because Mark was the coordinator for the program before I was, and he's dealt with that a bit more.
Yeah, that is something that's a possibility. The graduate faculty, the Faculty of Graduate Studies actually does allow that. But yes, you would have to get permission. It depends on the other program that you're applying to. So we will help you do that, though. We'd help you figure out if you could apply for other. So for example, I know people have taken courses in philosophy, they've taken courses in social science, they've taken courses in the international studies program. So it just depends on what your interests are, and you should be able to take at least one elective. I'm not sure if there's an upper limit. There might be an upper limit to the number of electives you can take from other faculties, but it is possible.
And the time when you take,
Thank you.
sorry, and the time you take those would be in the winter semester. So you have the fall to think about it and to set it up, because that's when you have the options. So the next question is, does this program offer part-time option? We don't. It's really full on. Some students might work part-time for, a part-time job like 1 day a week, but in terms of like part-time studies, we don't have an option for that. You need to be enrolled full-time to do this program. Becky, I'll keep going with these questions and you let me know if somebody's putting up their hand, but otherwise I'll just keep rolling through it.
Sure.
When we are making our course selections for second semester, can we expect guidance to strategically choose courses that will help us become the best journalist or comm specialist we can be? Yes, you can. And that might be good news for Jess and for Calvi, who are just a week away from deciding what courses they're going to take. Yeah, of course, you can talk to us and get some feedback about what courses. We have, we just had the last week or two, all of the teachers from the winter semester come in and talk to our current students and tell them about their courses to help as well. And Mark, go ahead. I saw your hand up. Oh wait, but you're muted.
Yeah, I'm having problems with my mute today. I just wanted to say that we will definitely do that, and sir, we'll help you tailor to what you want to accomplish in your careers. But at the same time, I also want to say, don't panic about it, because really there's no wrong choices. For example, I took, so this is going way back, but in the previous program, the MAJ, I was a graduate of that program, and I ended up taking television in my third term, which was at that point the second term. And I never worked in television a day in my life. I worked in radio, but I never worked in TV, and it didn't matter at all. Didn't make any difference. I ended up working with a great professor in that course, and that was really one of the reasons I ended up taking that specialization, because I wanted to work with them. So just don't panic about it too much. There really are no wrong answers. We don't have any courses in here in this program that aren't going to be useful for you guys.
Tina, I don't know if you want to have anything to add to that in terms of when you had to make your choices or anything like that?
Yeah, it was definitely like so difficult because at that point I kind of knew I wanted to take my career more in a comms marketing focus, but I still loved journalism. And of course, the journalism courses still help you prepare for a marketing career just with the storytelling capabilities. So I spoke to Erin Isings like so often for the weeks following up to choosing those courses and asking for advice on what I should do. And no one's ever gonna tell you what you have to do, but they're going to give you a perspective on what the courses are like so that you can make that decision yourself and feel a little more confident about the choices you're making for the second semester.
Thanks, Tina. And Jess and Calvi, I think you both have to leave for class, right? Anything you want to add before you leave? I see Calvi sent a note out about applications to everybody to make sure you reach out to your references before the deadline. That's in the chat section, which is a great tip. Anything else before you get to class?
Nope, that's it for me, but Jess will also leave her email in the chat, and then feel free to message either of us, or shoot us an email, I should say.
That's great. Thank you.
Yeah, and also about applications process, I remember being so nervous and spending so much time and overthinking myself, but just be confident in yourself. And you can also ask me if you need me to look over something or you need any advice. I'm always open.
Thank you both very much for joining us. It's good you don't have to actually run to a class. You can just sign out of this Zoom meeting and go into your next one. So have a good afternoon with Mark.
Jeremy, we're in case you lost your place there, we're down to Megan McSorley, who I think wants to unmute and ask some questions.
Yeah, go ahead, Megan.
Hello, I'm excited to be applying. Just a couple questions I have. So my first one, as someone who wants to go into social media marketing, communications, things along that line, do you think that this program will prepare me for a career in that realm, in that industry?
As the trainer in the social media dojo, Mark, do you want to start with that one?
Yeah, I heard.
Yeah, I think we can give you a pretty good grounding. And I think one of the secret sauce behind all of this is storytelling and writing. And that is one of the things that you're going to get in spades with this program. And I guess the other thing I'd say is that it's a master's degree. So it will certainly help you get that entry-level job. But farther along in your career, it's actually going to open some doors that would be closed to you otherwise. And I think that's worth considering when you're judging, because yeah, there's some college programs that would do the same thing in terms of the entry-level job, but I don't think it's going to give you that little oomph, 5 to 10 years down the road in your career.
Okay, thank you.
Tina, I'm going to come to you in a second to actually get.
I have to go, by the way.
Mark? Okay, thanks, Mark.
In 5 minutes, so I better go and find the right Zoom address for that one. Bye, everyone.
Thanks, Mark. Tina, I'm going to come to you in a second to help answer Megan's question. Sorry, Mark. See you later.
Okay, bye.
Okay. Megan, I'll just add to, from my own personal experience, at some point, and this for everybody, having a master's degree in itself is very valuable. So I know, in my career, I came to a point where I was choosing between working for the United Nations or teaching full-time. And to do either of those jobs full-time, I needed to have a master's degree, and I didn't have one. So at 40 years old, I went back and did my master's degree for a mid-career journalism degree. So having, if everything else is equal, getting an advanced degree I highly recommend. Tina, did you have anything to add to that? Because from your experience and from your classmates' experience?
Yeah, I was just going to say, so social media management is actually part of what I do as a full-time content specialist. And for me, I'm still kind of in that starting role where I'm the hands-on person doing everything, but part of my role is really strategizing what our strategy is for social media, for our blog, for basically any external communications. And I think that's the key thing that you learn in this program too, is not just how to be the doer, but you can also be that leader too and come up with those strategies to present to your bosses. And that's the difference, I think, between this program and then later on, that's going to be what leads you into a position where you're actually managing and supporting other people that are just starting out in their career, which is kind of the point that I'm getting to now. Just only 1 year out of the program is my company's talking with me about becoming that manager now and hiring more people so that I can support them and teach them how to strategize. So I think that's the big key difference here. And I got that from all of the classes in MMJC because I created marketing plans, I created communications plans, and that's the thing that really has made me stand out in my career when I can present those things. So that's something that's so important with the MMJC program.
Perfect, thank you. That was exactly what I was asking about, so that worked out.
Great. I'll just add to that, which is that to show our faith, full transparency, and to show our faith in our graduates, we've hired Tina to help us with our social media and to help us with recruitment a little bit. So she's been working sort of as a consultant for us this fall. And we completely trust her to do that. She's working with Becky to make that happen. All right, Megan, if you have other questions, we'll come back to you, but I'm just going to see if there's anything.
I'm all good.
Okay.
You're on to Carly there, I think.
Thanks, which I've got so many notes here from our people. Carly. What, can you read that one? I can't see where it is.
Sure. Does the program always start in the fall, or is there an option to start in the winter semester as well?
Yeah, so no part-time and no winter or summer start. We start September. It's a one entry per year. I know the MLIS program in our faculty takes people in at different times, but we are strictly September start for everybody. Everybody starts together and finishes together.
Okay, Jeremy, do you want me to read the next one to you?
Sure, because I haven't quite figured out where we are.
Yeah, we're quite a ways down. So while undertaking the courses, do students participate in any relevant projects or something similar apart from the internships in the capstone?
Okay, I see the question. I'm just going to reread it because I found it. While undertaking the courses, do students participate in any relevant projects or something similar? You will have projects in your courses, but no, I'm just trying to think. No, you do what you
doesn't Erin have them work in her communications class? Doesn't she have an assignment where they work with community partner?
Yeah. Okay. So sorry, I'm getting tired and missing this question. So you do it as part of your courses. Yes, absolutely. So Tina can talk about Erin's example. I'll talk about my class. We do go out and work with the community. There's a fair bit of community engaged learning and experiential learning. So in my advanced video class, if you do communications, we will set you up with a local organization, or you can pick your own. But we have local organizations that want videos done for their companies. So it could be a promo video, it could be a recruitment video, it could be a fundraising video. We've worked with lots of different companies, organizations around London, nonprofits and for-profits, Big Brothers and Sisters, Sled Hockey Canada, and basically you go out and you create a video working with them as if they were your client, and you put together a video for them. And YOU in London has used our videos when they've gone to Ottawa and shown them to parliamentary members, student videos for that. So that would be in the video side in my class. And then I know in, yeah, Becky's right, in Erin's class, they do a fair bit of that as well. Tina, do you want to mention that project?
Yeah, it's actually in first semester and second semester. So in the Intro to Communications class, you actually, as your final project, you work with a group to pick a community in London. So my group worked with Community Living. And what you do is you're going to do a full communications audit for them. So we reviewed their website and their social media, and we created like a 20-page report, just giving them advice on their strengths, their weaknesses, their opportunities, and external threats that they had in the marketplace. So that was super interesting. And then in second semester, if you're doing the communications course, you actually do a video with a organization as well, and you can choose that one. I worked with a Broadway singing group, which was super interesting to catch footage of that. It was a very fun video. And then I also did the same thing in John Munn's marketing course. And John Munn's marketing course and the communications course combined in second semester, and we worked with an organization where the classes from both really just like went into a bunch of different groups, and we did like a full like communications audit plan, marketing plan for this one organization, and they got like tons and tons of material from us. So all of that was like really, really great, like real experience that I could use in my portfolio when I was applying for jobs.
Thanks, Tina. And obviously internships, it happens in capstone projects, it could happen as well. So we had a student, and often will, we had a student who did her internship at Sick Kids, and they wanted her for the whole summer. So she worked all summer long. So her capstone project ended up being a video about a janitor at the hospital there who had decorated his cart. So when he goes to visit kids, he's got all these toys and fun stuff on the cart. It's really interactive. And it was a story focused on him, a video story. And it turned out so well, Sick Kids used it on their website. So that counted as our capstone project, and it was also something that fed into Sick Kids because they were very happy to have that for themselves. All right.
Jeremy, you're on Cassandra Coleman down there.
Got it. I found it again. Yeah, thanks.
Okay.
For the personal statement, it says to write an autobiographical style. What does this mean? It can mean, for that personal statement, it can be a lot of different things. So we want to see that you can tell a story, as Mark said. Don't sweat it too much about exactly what we're looking for. We are looking to see if you can tell a story. So I know it also says to write something in journalistic style. Don't worry about that. It doesn't have to be journalistic style. We're going to change that wording next year. Just have it a good story. And autobiographical style means tell us about you. And I'd say keep in mind that we're going to look at your CV anyways. That's part of your application. So don't just list everything that you've done in your life. We can see that from your CV. Tell us something about you that makes, that is interesting, that's relevant for why you're applying to this program, why you want to work in journalism, why you want to work in communications, why the MMJC is right for you. Hopefully that kind of gives you enough guidance. Don't sweat the words. Don't worry so much about the definition. Good. Got the thumbs up. All right, next. From Naomi, I read past testimonies from students that said their career goals were to work in television in various roles, whether creative or administrative. What aspects of the MMJC program help with a career in television? That's my career, that's my path. So that's easy for me to talk about. We teach you how to tell video storytelling. And whether you want to work in communications or journalism, again, video storytelling is really, really important. We teach you, and if you specifically want to work in TV news, for example, we teach you, again, how to be a reporter. We teach you how to do lives. A big part of TV is being live on air. You could end up doing that. It's a good skill for people who work in communications, if they have to be spokespeople who talk to the media, or if they own a company and have to talk to the media. We teach you how to do really good writing. In the program, we have a week set aside in the winter semester. We do production week, where we basically, if you're interested in journalism, there's a comms little projects for that week. And if you're interested in journalism, we run a newsroom for the week. So you come in the morning, we have a story meeting, the students run it. We started a little bit with you, we hold your hand a lot more at the beginning, day one. By the end of the week, the students are running almost completely. You'll take the different jobs of leadership or reporter or anchor, whatever you want to do, and you can switch roles during the week. So you try lots of different things, and you go out and you produce. So TV is part of it for sure. And at the end of the day, we have a typical TV newscast, so you get a chance to be an anchor. But there also you could be assigned to be the radio person for that day, and you'd be doing stories for radio and doing a radio newscast. You could be the reporter in the field. You could do a live from the field. All those kinds of different things specifically that would help you in TV can happen during that week as well. So you get that quick turnaround. The internships can be a huge part of it as well. We send students to CBC for internships every year. We also send them to Global and CTV. CBC is my background, but we send them to other places as well, if that's what you prefer. But getting that experience from an internship of getting into a newsroom is super helpful as well.